So one thing I've learned is that girls and people are very, very different. Based off their culture, their lifestyle, their upbringing, they can be very different. You know, there are universal traits that they do have just because of how males and females work and how evolutionary biology does work. But I want to focus today on the fact that they are kind of different. So for some girls, for instance, they can't go anywhere without getting hit on. Perhaps it's just the town or school they're going to. I've heard this is a case for a lot of community colleges, not all of them, but some of them. You can't make eye contact with a guy without them hitting on you. And so sometimes, just based off the girl, she is very savvy to that sort of stuff. And she really is just fine tuned towards it. So you going up to her and complimenting her and trying to hit on her and ask her out on a date sometimes does not work simply because of the fact that it is so common and you're not sticking out of the crowd. You're being like everybody else, and she just has a auto response and she's automatically rejecting you. Or it's just going to be a lot tougher because she's so used to it, so annoyed by it, and it's just, not going to work. Other times, for whatever reason, this girl may even be more attractive, and yet she just doesn't get approached at all. Who knows why? Generally speaking, she will get hit on, and she knows her value and that stuff. It's not ever going to rare. It's rarely going to be the case where it's just like she's kinda hit on maybe once in a blue moon, once in a month. But generally speaking, for whatever reason, it doesn't happen as much. She goes into a class and she makes eye contact with everyone, and no one really hits on her or approaches. Why? Who knows? It could be a variety of reasons. The place she grew up, the school, the fact that she's so intimidatingly attractive that no one bothers. A lot of different things are at play here, lifestyle, whatever. And so you never know. Sometimes I've had instances where girls are just flattered and they're very nice and you expect them to be very mean or something else. Other times it's the flip side, and sometimes you have no way of knowing. Ideally, I think it's good to do a little bit of gauging to see where she's at based off her body language and so forth, and then go from there. But sometimes that's just impossible or close to impossible because of the situation. She's moving quickly, and it's in the middle of the day, and you have to like tell her why you stopped her honestly, or she's just gonna think you're just some creep on the street or trying to sell her something, and she has somewhere to go, and you have like 5 seconds to decide. But outside of that type of situation, sometimes it's better to gauge things. And I think that's why being friends is useful. you know so many people complain about being friend zoned, and there's nothing wrong with making friends. In fact, um, maybe on some level you're doing it as a safety precaution, to see if this person may like you as something more. Other times you're just like, this person seems cool, and you just want to be friends with them because you have a lot in common or whatever else. But the point is that, you know, first off, being friends with someone attractive, especially of the opposite gender, or someone who has a lot of value to bring to the table in terms of intelligence, whatever else, advice, and just being their friend, very valuable. As if you have female friends, they could give you a lot of insight on the things you are missing, from the fashion mistakes that you're making, to the weird social quirks you're doing that you're not noticing, to just being very weird and creepy at times when you're interacting with other girls or people that you don't notice, but this girl does. I mean, generally speaking, a lot of girls, most girls, have almost a sixth sense. I've heard this so many times from so many people. They have like a sixth sense, and they're just naturally better and more socially savvy on average, not all of them. And Who knows why this is the case? They're more social people. Genetically, they're probably more wired to do so based off how they have to interact with their child. They're better at reading facial expressions and body language. And this is partially possibly due to the fact that they have to care for their baby in the future more than the father does. And on and on and on. So there's an enormous amount of benefits to having female friends. And in addition to that, sometimes you won't get the in on her from the get go. She will say no if you just asked her flat out for a variety of reasons. One of them being the fact that she gets potentially hit on by everyone as soon as she makes eye contact. So sometimes it allows you to just show your strengths, especially if you're not the best looker and your, initial impact strengths that she can gauge immediately, like how hot you look, your muscles, and your fashion are not up to par. You can, in the long term, show your better strengths, whether it's your intelligence, your humor, whatever else it is, and she can slowly switch into liking you. I've seen this happen before. So that's all I got to say about the subject. As always, like and subscribe. Thanks so much for watching. And let me know in the comments what you thought about this. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Peace.